Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Arkansas Weather Blog. We are your ticket to big weather events. The blog has been sort of quiet. I'm sorry. I'm recording this on Wednesday. I'm telling you, after that 3-week stretch that we had, I'm still catching up on sleep. I'm not kidding you. It was exhaustive. But now we're getting ready to go back into a very, very active weather pattern. Of course, as we've been telling you on social media and here on the blog, there's that severe weather threat on Thursday. And like I said, I don't see in Arkansas, I just don't see this becoming an outbreak. I can't rule out some severe weather, but this video is going to go in depth about what to expect tomorrow. And you know, the winds are going to be howling tomorrow afternoon. I'm beginning to wonder, hey, is the wildfire threat bigger than the severe weather threat tomorrow? I'm beginning to wonder that. Right now, we're under a slight risk for severe weather across far eastern Arkansas. Of course, it's still can change, and it's something I'm going to watch for you. But then next week, the cold is coming back. Again, I don't think this is going to be as cold as what we saw in January and early February, but compared to the averages, when you get into late February and into the 1st of March, when you look at the average temperature, because obviously it's going up as we go into spring, but when you look at the air coming in compared to the average, it's going to be pretty far off. There's going to be a large discrepancy between the average and the actuals. So here we go into a colder weather pattern, and I hate to tell you this. I look at this climate model. Actually, some people want to hear this. I've been following this climate model called the CSV V2. Forgot the name of it. But anyway, and it's got its issues. It goes back and forth, but it's been pretty consistent with showing the majority of March being below average in terms of temperatures. So spring, this is a teaser this week. It feels good though, doesn't it? So this video is going to show you an in-depth look using the new North American model this morning, the NAM, with the severe weather potential for Thursday and then next week as well. I've done enough talking. Here it is. This is the North American model from weatherbell.com, and this is the Wednesday morning run of the model. I've got a lot of stuff I want to show you. And this is starting off Thursday at 9 a.m. This is the surface low right in here. And what this is showing you all these pretty little colors. That's CAPE, which is convective available potential energy. We like to look at this to see the instability levels. And if you see on the far right side, it's just cut off. But I'll just tell you, obviously, the light blues, that's minimal. Then once you start to get the oranges and reds, and you're talking about substantial CAPE, and the higher the number, the more instability. And again, CAPE stands for convective available potential energy. It's measured in joules per kilogram, but we won't get into that just yet. Anyway, let's go. This is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Let me go back here. This is at 3 o'clock. The surface low is up here in Illinois, and this is the frontal boundary right in here. And this is you can see that there's a corridor of CAPE that's minimum 1,000 joules per kilogram, and that's enough to support some thunderstorm activity, organized thunderstorm activity. And you can see how it drops off behind the front. These black lines are isobars, and so you see a northerly wind coming in behind the front. Here's the front, and a south to southwesterly wind ahead of it, and there's some Gulf of Mexico moisture coming up. But this really doesn't get cranked up until it heads east of the state, and then we're in the drier air. So there is some instability around, and I don't use this product all that much. In fact, I rarely ever use it and rarely ever look at it. But it's worth looking at just because of what I think is a possibility. This is called the NAM total cloud cover in percentage, and where you see the white that's saying, and I'm assuming because I don't use this all that much, but 100% cloud cover in the area shaded in the dark. In the bright white. So this is Thursday at 9, and then you go to noon, and you see some breaks in the clouds across southeastern Arkansas and into Mississippi. And when you get breaks in the clouds, that allows for more solar heating, and that just adds fuel. That's like pouring gasoline on a fire. It's just going to fuel it, and it gives you more energy for thunderstorm development. But look what happens. This is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. All the breaks are pretty much south and east of the state, according to this model. And, we're clouded over. And when you have clouds, that can limit the amount of instability that you have. Now, you see here where it's clearing out. That's because dry air, this is behind the front. This is clearing behind the frontal boundary. And then you see how that moves off towards the east by 6 o'clock on Thursday. So that's, there's some limiting factors here in the fact that there could be quite a bit of cloud cover. All right, so this is simulated radar. Let's go out to This is noon, showing some showers around. Noon Thursday, especially across northern Arkansas. And then this is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's indicating a line of developing showers and maybe even some potential thunderstorms across eastern Arkansas. This is in the beginning, the initial stages of what we call convective development, thunderstorm development. And then this is by 7 o'clock. Notice it's 6 o'clock. Notice it's already east of the Mississippi River. And then that's when things, you see how it gets from the greens and goes into the reds. It's indicating an area of convection, of thunderstorms. So it looks like the worst of this, as has been pegged by the models, is going to be east of the state. And I also want to show you one other problem that we're going to have. This is what 10-meter wind, so it's off the surface in knots. And this is tomorrow afternoon. And where you see these blues, you're talking about winds off the surface between 20 and 30 knots across eastern Arkansas out of the south. And that overspreads behind the frontal boundary across central and northern Arkansas. You can get some pretty gusty winds. So you know what may be a bigger danger tomorrow, besides the severe weather, the potential, which I don't think is all that great, but winds and a wildfire danger, because there's not a lot of rain that's going to be coming with this. And we're dry, obviously, and have been dry, so there's the potential for a wildfire situation to get out of hand. It's already moderate in parts of central and northern Arkansas. The Storm Prediction Center, again, continues to paint eastern Arkansas, where I was showing you where the instability really comes into play during the afternoon hours, and especially areas towards the east. But this is for late afternoon, mid to late afternoon across eastern Arkansas. And taking it a step further, there's what this is showing you in the red is a 30% probability within 25 miles of any given point for severe wind, hail, or tornadoes even, but for severe weather. Within 25 miles of a given point, there's a 30% chance. Surrounding that is a 15% chance. Notice it's all east of Pulaski County, 5% chance further into central Arkansas. So there's the severe weather threat, as I told you. It looks like a potential limiting factor would be some cloud cover and the instability across portions of eastern Arkansas. Some dynamics could overcome that and provide some thunderstorm activity. All in all, as I have maintained, in Arkansas at least, I don't see this being an outbreak, but we'll have to watch for the possibility for strong to severe thunderstorms. Now, let's go to the European model, and what I want to show you what's ahead for next week. Remember, we had that zonal flow where everything was going from west to east, flooding us with this mild Pacific air. Well, this is next Sunday morning at 6 a.m. Notice the ridging. This is at 500 millibars, just under 20,000 feet up. Notice the ridging. There's Alaska. There's Arkansas. So you get ridging. It taps into the cold air and drives it south. So I'm still looking at colder temperatures next week. How cold is yet to be determined. But boy, I tell you what, the European is gung-ho about sending that ridge into a favored area that delivers cold air into Arkansas across Canada, western Canada, and Alaska. And look at all this energy coming down. This is, again, driving cold air continuously into the lower 48, and we'll have to watch to see if something comes out of the Pacific moisture down the road. And of course, the models are showing that, but in the long range, and you know how I feel about long range forecasting, it ain't all that great. But boy, I tell you what, look at this. It just cuts off the vortex here in Canada. Look at this. This would just, I mean, the focus of the extreme cold would be across the lakes and into New England, but we'd get a piece of it as well. That's for sure. But boy, I tell you what, this looks really cold up in here, and some of that cold air would drive in to our neck of the woods. And then this is what I'm talking about. This is going into the last day of February, the 1st of March. It does indeed. Let me back this up and see where this energy comes from. There it is in the Pacific. See, right? Gosh, come on, Todd. There's some energy coming into the coastal California, and then it drives eastward. I'm sorry, this map is bouncing around. But you see that there's a storm system that it wants to bring in here for the very last day of February into the first day of March. And as long as this is around and that ridging over Canada, there's going to be cold air on the playing field, so it is something to watch. Not saying it's going to happen, but it's something to watch. Thank you so much for coming to the Arkansas Weather Blog. We are your ticket to big weather events.